What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, you are watching TWA Motorsports, and today we're going to tie up a few things that have been laying around in the shop that I have been neglecting. Well, actually, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but one of them was outside out here by my metal pile, and that's the hitch for the truck. It didn't fit. Well, we were trying to make it fit a half-ton truck, Cohen's mowing truck over there, and it doesn't fit that. It's actually meant for this truck. So I painted it, then I cut on a little bit, and now I painted it again. So we're gonna be addressing that today. We're gonna get that on, and we're gonna get the trailer system all wired up. I've got it sitting here in a box. You can see just a normal stock hitch. Two bolts that we've got painted and setting over here. I actually painted these with like the POR 15. They look pretty good. And then, so there's two that come up through the bumper, two that are not in there right now that have nuts on the top of them, and then two that are already in that go through this opening right here. Those actually help hold the bumper on. So that's one thing. The next thing is trying to get rid of all this stuff that's just laying around out here. This right here, guys, if you remember correctly, when we did the battery and whatnot, this is like the corner pieces for under the hood here, so on this side. And so what we're going to do is, after I get the hitch on, which shouldn't take me long, I think we're going to switch our attention up here. We're going to take the other side off, we're going to sand them down and get them painted and back in there so they're out of the floor. Just trying to tie up some of the loose ends of stuff that's basically cheap or free to do, and we can knock out relatively quickly in this video. That's kind of the goal. So let's get the hitch under there and installed. Like I said, I don't think it's going to take real long. I've got all the bolts ready. I'm just going to see if I can get some help out here to hold it so I'm not fumbling around while it's going into place. I got it on there. I'm going to show you how it attaches here in a minute. My dad just helped thread a couple lines in on one side, but we'll get under there, like I said, in a minute and show you, because the bumper I think is actually tweaked a little bit, so I can't get the ones that go in the bumper. I don't think they're necessarily that big a deal, but I may kind of tweak the bumper to try to get them in. We'll see. Here is our next piece to the puzzle. This I got off of Amazon, as well as the wiring harness that plugs into the back of it, because I don't have anything on this truck. But this guy should go in like this and turn and scratch up all my new paint. That should be how it installs. Maybe it's this way. I think it may be that way, actually. Yeah, it is. So it goes in here, and then it's going to turn, but I think... There we go. Got the little lock. I didn't scratch my paint up too bad. But that's our plug that we're going to need, and it should stay stationary. It does. That's an aftermarket one. Dorman makes one, and then this company, I actually chose to go with whatever this is, just because the harness said that it would 100% fit. So that's important to me. I definitely want everything to fit. So now that we've got that, I'm going to go grab the back of that harness. I'm probably going to jack this thing up off the ground a little bit, and we'll see if we can figure out what plug goes where. The next part of this process, we have to contend with this wiring. Now, all the stuff that I'm reading, I couldn't find any like legitimate 3/4 ton. I found a lot of half-ton stuff, but guys, here's what we had. And I cut this off the back of the truck so it's easier to show you. We'll take you down there here in a little bit. But we've got a yellow, a green, a light blue, a brown, a light green, a black, a dark, like a kind of a bluish color, and which is thicker, and then we have a red. Here's what I found out online on the GM Upfitter website. I have found out that a lot of these interchange. So we're gonna go brown to brown on this new harness that I'm gonna be listing in the description down below. Now, most of the time your truck's gonna come with this, so you won't have to deal with it, but we're gonna go yellow to yellow. We're gonna go brown to brown. We're gonna go dark blue. Okay, so dark blue on this guy to the dark, well, the only blue technically on this one. White is gonna go to black because that is the ground. And what's really, really odd is black is going to go to red. So it's kind of odd. And then for the backup reverse, that is the light green on the harness that comes out of the truck. It is actually the red on the harness that comes with this. So what we're gonna do is these are actually heat shrink butt connectors, and they're actually a really good quality. So we're just gonna use these. Normally I wouldn't tell you guys to use that, but I'm gonna get under there, strip the wire back a little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and just use these butt connectors to do this, splice all these wires together, and then I'll kind of show you once I get it done, because I also wanted to show you where the kind of where the hitch bolts onto the truck. And once we're under the truck, I wanted to show you a couple things. First of all, that's where the bolts go in, so you can see one there, one on the bumper bracket right there, one there, one there. So there's 6 total, not including the ones that we can't get in the bumper right now. But on these wires right here, you can see we have what I was telling you kind of corresponds with what we've got on this other deal, but we're gonna go red to black on our connector. We're gonna go blue to blue, which is good. We're gonna go brown to brown. We're gonna go light green to red, which is weird. We're gonna go black to white. We're gonna go yellow to yellow. We're gonna go green to green. And you're probably wondering what the blue, the light blue is. That is for if you have a camper shell and you're looking for a third brake light. So we will not be using that, but I need to strip all these wires back and get our new connections crimped on. Now I've got my heat gun out and I've got these all clamped down, heat shrinked. Got the extra right here that's for the cap. We're just gonna tape it up. So now that I've got everything taped up, looks pretty solid. I actually like those connectors, did really well. I'm really not a butt connector guy, but it's a tough spot to solder above your head. And these thicker wires are tough to solder anyway. They're just like a really hard wire. I don't like doing them. But I'm gonna wrap this up in tape. We're gonna plug it in. And I think, guys, I'm gonna try to pull it out and use my trailer out here to test it. So without actually hooking the trailer on, I just took the lights up and you can see I've got my right blinker on, just testing everything. Check it out, got a right blinker. So everything's working. Just wanted to make sure. I mean, the plugs are pretty self-explanatory, but you just want to make sure when stuff like this, you're putting stuff together, making sure that it works. So now we're gonna move under the hood and see if we can knock out those other pieces. Now remember, we have the piece that goes from here to here, and we have that corner piece already out. That's what's on the floor right here that we're cleaning up and fixing. But on this other side, we need to take, holy cow, I don't know what that is. We need to take these 2 13s out, those 2 13s out, so 4 total, and get that cleaned up. And guys, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna paint this and the little bar that goes over there with Rust-Oleum. So just some average Rust-Oleum, I'll list it in the description, just probably, I don't know if I'll use gloss or semi-gloss, and then probably gloss actually. But for these, I'm gonna be just POR 15ing those, and I'll kind of show you how I set that up. I'm gonna clean them up on my grinder over there with the wire wheel, clean the heads up really well, and then I'm gonna stick them in a cardboard, but I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. This is how I line them right before I paint them. Like I said, I'm gonna paint those a POR 15. The other ones over here, Cohen is cleaning up with a Scotch-Brite. That's the pieces, that and this here, and then we're gonna wipe them down with some, I've just got some 97% alcohol. Hang them on a tree out here, and I'm just gonna spray them, like I said, with Rust-Oleum. I'm painting a couple other things, but you can see the bolts after I've went over them with the POR 15. Definitely looking good. Let's go over and take a look at the panels or the pieces of metal that I sprayed with the Rust-Oleum, just gloss black. I've got these hanging in here because it looks like it's gonna rain, but you can see they look really good in gloss. Just scuffed them up with the Scotch-Brite, wiped them down with some alcohol, shot them with Rust-Oleum. One other thing I didn't show you guys is I took this bolt out to paint it. I just thought it may look a little nicer to paint it. You gotta be careful though, these fenders, they move around when you start to take bolts out, but I've got them all painted over there. They're setting, they just got finished on a second coat. Let's get this stuff back in. I'm gonna take some time, clean the area like where they mount to. So let me go grab some cleaner real quick. We'll clean those areas, but let's see if we can get them in. Yeah, that area is kind of gross there. Not use anything fancy here, just some super clean actually because it's so grody. It's like it's etched. You know how to explain it. Almost like tar. And I think there's some overspray on it, to be honest with you guys. This fender on this side's been painted. And a pretty crappy paint job at that. So it's just like it doesn't want to come off real great. I think maybe I should use a clay bar. See, I don't know if you can see that. I mean, it cleans up. Just like it takes a lot to scrub it down. We'll spend a little time here. And we'll go grab our pieces and get them installed. I've got it cleaned up as good as it's gonna get. So this front one that came out of the front of the fender is long. And when I say long, it's like twice as long as the ones that hold this piece that we painted in. So we'll get it started. And so you can see how nice that looks. And then look at the bolts. So much nicer. And look, you don't have to do this. This is that OCD in Travis that you just, as you take stuff apart, you try to clean it up the best you can and make it look nicer going back together. You know, this truck under the hood is pretty gross. But we'll work on stuff as we take it apart. I'd like to take some time and do the cowl and the windshield wipers at some point. But this thing really needs wash before I get, I think, any more exterior parts or under the hood parts cleaned. I don't have a torque spec on this, guys. What I do like to do though is, you'll notice there's generally a spot where these things have set before. It'll be like a mark in the paint. So we're just gonna run it down, try to line that stuff up. Look how much nicer that looks. Definitely worth the time and effort spent, in my opinion. Now the only difference here on the other side is the two that hold this in place are 10 millimeter instead of 13. Get this started. I like this POR 15 on bolts because it holds up a little better when you're snugging them down. If I painted those with the Rust-Oleum like I did these pieces, they'd look great, but the first time I touched them with a ratchet, they'd be destroyed. It just peels off relatively easy when you're putting that kind of pressure on it. But this guy right here, what I'm talking about, these are 10s. And look, we probably could have left this out. I don't think it's, you know, I don't think it's 100% you have to have this. I don't know that it does much, especially since there's not one on the other side. Let's get them snugged down and we will be finished with this little project. We are all finished up here, and tell me how much better that looks. Doesn't it look better? Doesn't it look so much nicer? So we got this accomplished. We got the hitch. We'll go back there in a second. I will tell you guys, when you're tightening this bolt here, okay, whether you're on this side or the other side, this little opening right here, it gives you the ability to stick a awl in or a punch of some sort and align that fender. Like I said, I'm trying to meet up with the original spot where the washer set. This fender will get all out of sorts once you take this bolt out. Whether it's the fender or the actual top of the core support, I'm not sure, but to get that line back up, you're gonna have to put something in there to tighten that up. So just wanna let you guys know. So we also obviously got the back ready to haul a trailer. Now, how often will we haul a trailer with this? I'm not 100% sure, but That has been laying out here forever, and I wanted it out of the way. As a matter of fact, my neighbor came and picked up my scrap pile, so all that junk that was sitting here is finally out of the way and gone. But definitely looking a lot better. We obviously got that wired up. So what's next, guys, on this truck? Well, I told you when I did the interior stuff that I really want to get a steering wheel, which I think my uncle actually has one that we're going to be installing. You can't buy these new anymore. You can, I think, buy the foam one, but I want the leather wrapped one like what this one is. And so he's got one in way better condition than this. I think we'll be doing that. I don't know if that's going to be next. I also need a new lid for my fold down console there. But here's what I'm going to show you. And I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting. Every comment that I get on this truck, it's in there. Check it out. We have all this stuff to drop the front. Now the spindles aren't here, they're back in the back. Remember, I bought those used and they're actually painted. Well, I painted them. But I was planning on, look, this is a very expensive project, okay? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We should have started with a way nicer truck, to be honest with you. Guys, between wheels, tires, drop, it is I spent more just on the wheels and tires than I paid for the truck. We've gotten really deep in this project. Of course, a dually bed, if you guys have priced one of those, they're not super cheap either. Yeah, there's a lot of money going into this. So, you know, the front drop, I was planning on doing brakes, new hubs. I was planning on doing brake lines. I was planning on doing all this stuff, and I've kind of backed off on that. So the brakes are working good. We're going to leave them, as much as it's going to be painful for me to do that. I still want to paint some stuff in there, but we've got all the stuff to actually get the thing dropped. So that is the next goal on this thing. Like I said, I might sneak a steering wheel install in there on you, or that lid for the center console, but the drop stuff is here. It is coming very soon. So guys, hopefully you did enjoy this small little video. If you did, please, like always, go down there and smash that thumbs up button. If you are not subscribed, go down and hit the subscribe button. Of course, like always, ring that bell notification. That will notify you every time we drop a new video, and stay tuned to see what we work on next.